Guys, like, comment, subscribe, share this video, especially if you love college football as much as I do. You know, I've been high on South Carolina and Shane Beamer since about midway or near the end of the first year with South Carolina under Shane Beamer, which was 2021, because, and again, I'm going to keep talking about it because I can and because it's true. This guy has a knack for winning games he shouldn't be winning. He tends to exceed expectations, you know. And I like Shane Beamer. I really do because he's a really good special teams guy. He was Georgia's teams coach in 2016 under Kirby Smart with his first year there. Not that I didn't see anything special there, but because he wasn't a head coach, I didn't really know anything about him other than he was Frank Beamer's son. But his special teams at South Carolina is really good. Really good. They like to go for it on fourth down. You saw it against Notre Dame in their bowl game this past year. And you've seen it throughout. They had a lot of block punts, block kicks, whatever it was. Notre Dame had that too. I just think he's a really good coach, you know, and think about it. The first year, he beat Auburn, he beat Florida, you know, and I know on paper those aren't big wins, especially at the time because they were both losing teams at the end of the year. But those are still big name programs, so it looks good for South Carolina at the time, who wasn't even making bowl games back then. And for Shane Beamer, because he's a first-year coach, you know, so that's awesome. And heck, speaking of bowls, he got Mayo dumped on him for beating North Carolina, who started the season in the top 10. So at some point, Florida, Auburn, and North Carolina were all top 25 teams before or during that year, right? So it's good from fast forward to year two. He beats ranked Kentucky, who was ranked at the time, on the road. He beats top 10 teams like Tennessee and Clemson, ruined their playoff games, back-to-back games to finish the year. He ended up making that Orange Bowl, which my brother talked about, the South Carolina Beat You Bowl. So he has exceeded expectations at South Carolina. Now, I did make a video about a month and a half ago. I talked about South Carolina will go 10-2 with losses at Georgia and probably Tennessee, because I think Tennessee gets payback at home. But I also think it's possible they can make the playoff. They're my dark horse team of the year, and I'll tell you why. Again, he likes to. Shane Beamer exceeds expectations. He's competitive. He likes to win. I like his attitude too, how he handles himself before and after the games. He has his team ready to play for him. He manages to get more out of his players than what they look like on paper, because you know how experts like to say, well, this player is probably this or that. And I'll make a separate video about Spencer Rattler, about him too. And I think, speaking of Spencer Rattler, I think he's going to have a pretty good year this year coming up. Remember his freshman year when he started off kind of rough and he threw some picks, and it was, I think he was a true freshman in 2019. He didn't get to play because Jalen Hurts was the quarterback at Oklahoma. Then COVID year came. They lost 2 games. He was a big part of that. But then he started to hit a stride in the Texas game in 2020. And then from there on, he went on to go undefeated from there. Won the Big 12 championship, blew out Florida, and as a freshman, he looked pretty good, won the Cotton Bowl. Then he felt good about himself. He probably just didn't handle all that the right way. And even most of this past year, he didn't play too good. But he still found something in the Tennessee and Clemson games, and he didn't play bad in the bowl game. So I think he's going to get better. I think he's probably going to be more mature. And I'm completely going off topic right now talking about Spencer Rattler, even though I just said I'm going to make a video about him. But yeah, South Carolina continues to get better. Talent-wise, they're not one of the better teams. But again, there's talent, which you need, but then hard work, preparation, and the right attitude to play in college football and being focused. And as far as those things go, I think that will compensate for the lack of talent that South Carolina's had. And speaking of talent, South Carolina's done pretty good recruiting lately. He's had some true freshmen last year playing defense. They played pretty darn well. And as far as making the playoff, who knows? You know, they might just lose to Georgia and beat everybody else. Like, they ain't beating Georgia. But being 10-2, 11-1, very possible for South Carolina. Who knows? What do you guys think, though?